Now, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame has again generated a lot of controversy because this time around they actually decided to redefine what rock and roll is supposed to be, or what their conception of rock and roll is. Now we have pop artists, rap artists, we have some of the most legendary actual rock bands getting totally snubbed. And really, it's a sign of the times. As we've seen everything going on with AI Drake and all this other stuff, it's obvious that the music industry is trying to claw back every single cent that it possibly can. And here they are actually forgetting what the meaning of rock and roll actually is. I'll start with a good one that is a surprise, and that is Rage Against the Machine. Any kind of accolades for that band are long overdue. Make no bones about it, Rage Against the Machine totally rocks. And they bring a really funky flair along with the intense mix of Zach De La Rocha's rap and Tom Morella's DJ guitar effects. There's no doubt a lot of us Rage fans are just happy to see that they actually made the cut. But then you have to question why Iron Maiden got snubbed. I mean, Iron Maiden has been around forever, and they played a huge part in shaping rock and metal. There's no doubt that any death metal or whatever core song that you have heard definitely could claim some of its roots in Iron Maiden, and yet they completely got blown off. Which, according to Bruce Dickinson, he kind of didn't want to see the band even getting involved with that stupid thing anyway. So, as far as he was concerned, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is just a joke. So them being snubbed is probably more of a surprise to the fans, less of a surprise to him. He's like, hey, I couldn't even be bothered. So he probably wouldn't even show up if they were inducted. Let's put it that way. Another notable snub is the White Stripes. Say what you want about it. I know rock fans are very divided on them, but now that we've had some time to look back and see sort of where the White Stripes have fit into the whole music scheme, they are rock, and they bring about that unabashed, wild sound. Seven Nation Army is one of the most sung songs of all time, even if it's just a main line, the dum 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 dum. Its beauty is in its simplicity, and Jack White and Meg White and their dynamic duo should have totally made the cut as well. And then you've got the Spinners. Now, I grew up on some of their stuff. My parents played them all the time. They are not rock. That'd be like kind of trying to call them maybe a funk group. I mean, they weren't even funk. I mean, they're just kind of mellow R&B. I have no idea what the hell they're doing in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. You know, their hits like I'll Be Around, Could It Be I'm Falling in Love? Granted, the songs might have stood the test of time, but in rock and roll? No, I'm sorry. Now here's for another notable snub. Soundgarden. This is a band that perfectly embodies the spirit of rock, and they were just completely left out in the cold. Chris Cornell and the gang really shaped music as it was going into the 90s. And while they were a part of that whole grunge movement, so to speak, back then, they were part of the group that really wanted to make sure that some of the best elements of hard rock were included in there. And for some of us who were much more on the rock side than the grunge side, Audioslave came later. Soundgarden made it much more welcoming. And they definitely made the onslaught of 90s music much more palatable. But George Michael wasn't forgotten. Many of us rockers find him to be very endearing. His music was something that everybody ran around singing, but again, he doesn't belong in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They should have a Pop Hall of Fame. Put him in there. That's where he would really belong, you know? Of course, he did do some stuff that bordered on rock and roll, so maybe some credit goes there. I'm not sure. George was great, but can't really see him in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Same with Missy Elliott. I mean, Missy Elliott is a killer rapper. She should be heading the Rap Hall of Fame. I'm sorry, but it just doesn't fit in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame at all. It's really as if the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is trying to diversify its palette. But in the process, they're diluting the very essence of what rock music is supposed to be. So to that, maybe they should have gotten a Tribe Called Quest in there. There's a pioneering hip-hop group. And so their exclusion is going to raise questions about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame's commitment to recognizing the influence of hip-hop on the music landscape. Chaka Khan. She got an honorary induction through the Musical Excellence Award. I've dug into her work a lot because I used to play a lot of her songs on the Las Vegas Strip. I was also in a band with one of her drummers. Is she rock? No. she definitely wouldn't go into the Pop Hall of Fame either. I guess if she had to go into a Hall of Fame, I guess the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame would take her, but no, she's definitely much more steeped in the R&B side of things. So maybe there you go, an R&B Hall of Fame. We could have a Pop Hall of Fame, a Country Hall of Fame. I mean, Willie Nelson made it. Nothing against good old Willie. I mean, we all love him, but Willie is not rock. Why is he going into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? You know, that guy would be the elder statesman of the Country Hall of Fame. Hell, it should be Willie Nelson's Country Hall of Fame, basically. And I'm sure in an interview or something, he'd probably say that he was surprised as well. I mean, Willie could bogart with the best of them, but when it came down to it, he still plays some good old country western, and it does not belong here in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So really, we're left with a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame that's more confused about its identity. And they want to say, well, the lines between genres is blurring, so let's just make it all one kind of music nowadays. And I'm sorry, but the truer rockers are not going to take that. But of course, then again, we want to look at the bigger picture too. Music these days has become about as appealing as a dried up turd in a public restroom. And the music industry knows it. Bedroom nerds are harnessing the power of AI to churn out Drake and the Weeknd knockoffs that honestly sound better than the real deal. It's as if we're witnessing a sleep-deprived toddler attempt. I'm gonna have to cut out some lines there for sure. You know we've hit rock bottom when computer-generated tunes start to outperform. You know that we've hit rock bottom when computer-generated tunes start to outperform human-made tracks. And of course, the music industry isn't going down without a fight. They are clinging to their profits so desperately that they're even issuing RIAA takedowns of songs that they don't even own. There are people out there literally writing songs from the music up, throwing some AI generated stuff over the top of it, call it what you will, like it, hate it, whatever. But the bottom line is it is not generated by an RIAA certified artist. And yet they're taking it down as if it's their own property. It'd be like if you heard a song on YouTube that you didn't like, so you were able to issue an RIAA takedown and friggin' strike that channel because you didn't like the tune. I mean, that's really what it's come down to. And I talk about that and how it actually kind of ties in with what they're seeing because they've even forgotten what the hell rock and roll is. And music has become so damn formulaic these days that it's easy to replicate with AI at this point. I mean, they're showing it. That's why they're getting all these hits and people are like, dude, that slaps. Yeah, it friggin' slaps, right? It's the same shit that the artists have been doing that are actually signed to the labels making big bucks. And now the labels are going, well, crap, now we can't pull in millions on this because some bedroom producer did it. So again, what do? They go have it yanked off Spotify and all that. And it just becomes more and more and more transparent, you know, that they're greedy, they're friggin' desperate. They don't even know what the fuck rock and roll is anymore. And there you have it. That's what we get with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So it is a big joke. But then again, there are a lot of big jokes going on in music. Take, for instance, that really popular hard rock band from the 80s, where 3 out of the 4 members don't even actually play their own instruments. They get on stage and they mime their parts. And of course, one of their members, who's a founding member, decided to let them have it. So check out my Mick Fights Back video. I'm leaving a link here. And like many others, I totally stick with Mick on this one, for sure. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.